Hey guys, I wanted to go over a couple of problems from the Khan Academy assignment last night. It seems like we were having some issues. Let me just go over this a little bit here and make sure that we're all okay with this. So here's our first, this is actually my second one. But I have f of x equals 5/9 times the quantity of x plus 9 times the quantity of x plus 3. So if we think about what we did with the zero product property, let me get a pen here. So let's say you have x plus 9 as one of your factors, and we have x plus 3. And I'm going to apologize, I'm writing with the mouse, so it's going to look terrible. All right, x plus 9 equals 0. And then the other one will be x plus 3. Please bear with me, I'm not going to write that out. But if we have x plus 9 equals 0, then that means that x-intercept is -9. So I'm going to move this over to -9. I know that it's going to get all cattywampus. That's okay. For the second one here, if it's x plus 3 equals 0, that means that x-intercept is -3. So we have to get this so that's going to cross at -3. Let's see. Let me put this. So we need that, and we need it to cross at -3 or -9. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Notice I've got a 0 or a x-intercept of -9. I have a 0 or an x-intercept of -3. So the two x-intercepts are on there. Now the next thing we have to do, let me get all this stuff out of here, is figure out how far up or down the parabola is going to go. So what you want to remember is that the x-intercepts are symmetric. So if my graph crosses at -9 and -3, that means my vertex is going to be right in the middle of -9 and 3. Right in the middle of -9 and 3 is -6. So that means that my line of symmetry is where x is -6. And my vertex always has to be on the x-axis or on the line of symmetry. So that means that my vertex is going to be somewhere, it's already lined up, but it's going to be somewhere along here. Now notice, I'm going to go all the way up and down x equals -6. Whoops, as long as I stay where x is -6, my x-intercepts are staying at -3 and 9. So if we have to figure out what the y value is, we know the x value has to be -6. So what we're going to do is take 5/9 x plus 9 times x plus 3 and replace x with -6. I'm going to go over to this calculator here and do that. All right, let's do 5/9 -6. I'm just making x equal -6 because that's where the line of symmetry is going to be. -6 plus 3. And when I calculate that, I find out that the y value there is going to have to be -5. So let me go back here. It's going to have to be, am I there yet? Yeah, I'm there. So my vertex, the highest or lowest point on the parabola, is at -6, right in the middle of the x-intercepts. And the y value when x is -6 is -5. Check it. Got it right. Next question. All right, so let's take a look at this one. So we have, and I'm just going to underline them. I'm not going to try to write this time because it will be atrocious. All right, x plus 6, x plus 4. Let's think about our zero product property. To make the first set of parentheses 0, I'd have to have -6. To make the second set, I'd have to have -4. So we're going to move this over. Let's move these. All right, so let's move it. So we've got -4. See how the parabola goes through the x-axis at -4 and -6. Those are your zeros or your x-intercepts or your roots. All three of those words mean the same thing. Now, what number is going to be right in the middle of -6 and -4? -5. So notice my line of symmetry is going to be all right up or down there. Okay, so I'll just move that so we can kind of see it. Notice that as I move up or down that vertical line at -5, the x-intercepts aren't changing. So we know that x is going to be -5. So we're going to take our equation. Everywhere I see an x, I am going to replace it with -5. So let me go over to my Desmos calculator. Let's try it. 4. And instead of x, I'll put -5 plus 6. And then -5 plus 4. So we're finding out what would y be if x is -5. And in this case, it would be -4. So I go over to -5. I drag this guy down. Am I at there? Yeah. I'm at -5, -4. My x-intercepts are going through the right place. I've got my graph. Next question. I'll do one. Well, it will only let me do one more. All right, y equals -3/8 times the quantity of x plus 5 times x minus 3. All right, so let's think about our zeros, our x-intercepts, our roots. All right, x plus 5 is one factor. X plus 3 is the other. That means that our two roots are +3 and -5. So there. Looks like I got my parabola to cross over here at -5. That will give you 0 here. So x equals -5 is one root. One x-intercepts, 1, 0, whatever you're calling it. And the second one is 3. All right, so what number is right in the middle of -5 and 3? -1. So we're going to take this equation up here, and everywhere we have x, we're going to replace it with -1 so that we can see what the y value will be when the x value is -1. It's going to tell us how far down or up our vertex has to go. In this case, I think it's going to we're going to be flipping the parabola over because we've got a negative number out in the front, and we know from transformations that when we multiply by a negative, it flips that parabola over. So let's go find out. All right, let's clear this. All right, negative, let's get a fraction in there, 3/8. It's -1 plus 5, -1 minus 3, and it equals 6. So that means our vertex is at -1, 6. So on my graph, I'm going to go ahead and drag this up to 6. So my vertex is up here, -1, 6. My x-intercepts are at -5, +3. Notice it's a flipped over parabola. It opens down, and that's because of this -3/8 that's being multiplied out in the front. That should give me my graph. And there's the end. All right, if you still have questions, well, you can post them to me, whatever you need to do, or email me. If you want to go back and give this another try, just go back to yesterday's post and click on the link and give it a try and see if you can get a better score than yesterday if you're struggling. Any other questions or anything, just reach out and let me know. All right, guys, have a great day, and I will see you later.